don't believe in chemtrails. I don't live in Trutherville. Just because you saw it on the screen doesn't make it real. I don't take the red pill, I don't take the blue pill. I just choose to follow my dreams, Autohooks and chill. I stepped off the world stage and I moved away from all the fake outrage and the hearsay. And I don't give the time of day to those when they say, cause they got a bad case of the mind age. I stepped away from the game entirely. I won't be caught up in the lame dichotomy. I've stepped away from the cage entirely. I'm free today. My mind's been saved by reading Autohookology. Out of the control system finally. I know where to go if you follow me. Cause I've been reading Autohookology. Nothing can bother me. Autohookology. Won't put the screen before it's blasphemy.
All right. Hello, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and good night. It is Sunday, June the 8th, 2025. It's the Fakeologist show. It's Sunday, I said that, at 8:01 in the p.m. We usually do the show between 8 and 9. We're on summertime hours. I took last week off because it seems like the PSYOP industrial complex has taken some time off as well. So either that or I'm not looking for it. But we're going to catch up tonight with IPS because I am admittedly behind on his shows as well. And I wanted him just to give us a summary of what he's been up to for the next hour or so. And it's also hockey playoffs in Canada. That's a big thing. And I am sort of watching that. Although I'm also transitioning into doing a little trading as well, making use of technology to perhaps make a little income so I don't have to work so many hours doing my Joe job, which one day I'd like to retire from. Even if it's on a government wage in the very end, I still don't want to work forever. And God knows media fakery and these shows only pay the bills. They just cover the cost of running the website, which gets harder and harder with all the bot attacks, I must say. So I have to spend more time trying to defend my website. We'll talk about that and all kinds of other things with IPS of IPS.monster, a returning guest, Tim Ozman. Hello, Tim. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. And the timing is great because we're about to hit what could be a significant plot twist. Things tend to accelerate, and it seems like this weekend, is big because it's Trump's birthday, it's Flag Day, and there's these massive protests scheduled across the nation called No Kings. Meanwhile, Trump is celebrating his birthday with a military parade in D.C.
Okay, well, I rely on you to keep me up to date on all this. I just got a message from my own dad who says he predicted these riots last year, and he just thinks this is the fall of the American empire, and he gets all his information from MSNBC and CNN. So I told him, stop watching TV if you don't want the empire to end. I did a quick look at it. Yeah. What do you think?
Well, right now, though, too, as we speak, there are these riots building up in Los Angeles where the National Guard has been called out. Marines are being called out because you have the ICE raids being protested, and then the people are rioting against, these federal agents. So it's kind of escalated. And the left, the pro-immigrant side, really sees it as Trump unnecessarily escalating it by getting involved when it could have been solved internally. So we have this budding conflict growing right now, and I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. And one of the things, I'm not sure if you saw this, did you see the Mexican naval ship crashing into the Brooklyn Bridge?
I didn't see it, but I read about it maybe just before I went on my show vacation. And what do you got on that? What happened?
Well, people are watching this boat. Well, staged is my opinion.
Staged.
So
I'll take staged.
The boat hits the Brooklyn Bridge, and one of the two deaths was a woman named America. So you have the Mexican flag, the crash, America dying. And so we're looking at this as, is this some kind of signifier as far as forecasting? Is this some kind of foreshadowing of a conflict? So it's kind of interesting that right now we have the Mexican flag central to what's going down in Los Angeles, and the symbol of the sinking ship. It's all kind of, I think, neatly put there. So that's been one of the developments, of course, is this thing in Los Angeles. And then the other major thing was Trump and Musk breaking up. Did you catch any of that?
Absolutely, because one of the things I'm studying is trading and trading options. And the number one or number two stock for options is, of course, Tesla. It's one of the most highly liquid options slash stock markets in the world. So even if you couldn't care less, those two can move the market. They can move the stock, and volatility is how options traders make money. So if he's not being sponsored by the Option Trader Society, I don't know who's sponsoring him, but this is good for business.
Okay. Well, it looks like World Wrestling Entertainment Theater to me. Like, it's got to be
Absolutely.
staged.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I have no doubt about that. They're both world stage characters, as you so rightly point out on all your shows. There's no doubt. It's worldwide wrestling. Neither of them, they're both smart people in their own right, but I don't think he runs Tesla. I don't think he has much to do with SpaceX, just as much as I don't think the president has ever really run the country. He's just the head promoter, head marketer of the cabal that inevitably has to be behind the running of a large corporation. The president is just the figurehead. He's not the brains in this case behind the
yeah,
operation.
that's accurate. I would, when I look at Musk, there's obviously like 12 individuals in a boardroom somewhere directing his every tweet. I think he's mostly essentially an actor, but I don't think they make it up as they go. I think his role is largely prescribed for him decades in advance. They know where they're going. But yeah, certainly this is theatrical. He had a black eye. So there's some kind of scuffle and somebody punched him. At first he said his son did it, but others say
Or
someone else
makeup.
did it.
Dare I
Or
say
makeup.
makeup?
Well, this is where it gets to what I'm thinking it could be. I think it relates maybe some foreshadowing, but the symbolism of the right eye. He's next to a statue of Abraham Lincoln, and then on the other side is Trump. So I kind of think there's a subtext here, but yeah, certainly. So you missed that bit of fakery. Let's see what else. Other than that, we've been following the build up to June 11th. Are you familiar with this whole June 11th thing?
Oh yes, I followed you on that topic for a while. You and also Jurassic Liars, is that one of his main tenants?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And he's been on the mark consistently with this stuff. It's rather mind blowing. And I've been using AI to go through. So I'll go to Notebook LM and I'll copy and paste the YouTube channel. And I'll say, give me a synopsis and bullet point every numerical connection. And it'll succinctly give you a breakdown of the video and all these connections. And it's pretty daunting when you look at it. But it all seems to be similar to the build up to 9/11. But the contention that I have is that we're moving toward a right wing 9/11 style event
Oh,
centered on Seattle.
yes.
And I've been saying
Okay.
this for a long time. And just the other day, this news story came out that the white nationalist group, The Base, which happens to have been founded by a Pentagon contractor,
Mm-hmm.
is engaging in paramilitary training across the country. And of course, this is a white nationalist group called The Base, but Al Qaeda means the
Mm-hmm.
base. So this kind of
Yeah.
fits with what I've been saying, that this is the reason why I've been looking at 6/11 symbolically as a very significant date. The other dates would be, of course, 4/19, Waco, and 9/11 already has the association with the external terrorists, but this one fits very succinctly, and it aligns with the death date of Timothy McVeigh.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jurassic Liars and I arrive at the same conclusion, more or less, but from different directions. And so I've been looking at this as this foreshadowing of a white nationalist 9/11 attack, and he's been looking at this as a more metaphysical arrival of the Antichrist type scenario. But we both center on Seattle, Space Needle, 6/11.
Yeah, I had Leo on. What was his name again? Sorry, I'm
Oh,
gapping
Leo
right
Friend,
now.
yes, yes.
Leo friend. He's a good researcher too. And
Oh yeah, yes, yes.
and he
Mindwar.page. That's his site.
yes, and you were talking to him as well. So those are very enjoyable shows. He's a really good caller. I'm just trying to find here on my own website where we talked with that guy. Let's see here. I think that was a couple. Here he is, Leo Pirate. He calls himself when he came to my site, but he recorded some of his calls with you, and those are pretty good. He put them on his website, so he's really into all this as well. This topic. So he did do something on the Seattle Space Needle. Maybe that was based as well on your research as well.
Yeah, we've kind of been really putting this through the think tank quite a bit, and
Yeah.
it's what we're doing here is we're approaching what seems to be the next 9/11, but we're doing so with eyes open, not eyes wide shut. We all went into 9/11 ignorant of psyops to the extent they exercise them, and here we are with a different set of presuppositions about media and fakery and the big picture. So why shouldn't we see the next one coming? And should we not be able to call it out in advance? And we've been noting these relationships quite often, the very specific, quote, eerie coincidences, as the media calls them, between what happens in the entertainment world and what is happening at the same time on the world stage. And all signs do seem to point to this week being very much some kind of culmination of what this media buildup has been heading towards. A similar approach to 7/13 last year, as we were more or less forecasting that Trump was about to get it. So it's kind of reaching a similar crescendo here.
Did you guys predict the Trump staged assassination event in a way?
Well, yeah. We were acknowledging the body
Mhm.
of predictive programming. Even, I mean, we had pointed out Machete, where Senator McLaughlin gets shot at while he's giving a xenophobic speech, which is like the template for what they did in Butler. But on that day, we were discussing this thing, and
Mhm.
one of our commenters in the chat actually commented about it was Isabel about the astrological alignment of the star Algol, and said this would be an appropriate day for a head wound. And the next thing you know, the
Mm.
shots go off in Butler. But it's consistent with our read on the entertainment media. Is my point. We were expecting it because it was mirrored, and so we're looking at the same effect. And so I've been watching this scenario unfold, and Final Destination comes out with a final episode called Bloodlines. Have you seen it or watched the trailers?
Well, we went over that with Leo Pirate, so yeah, that's that's the only way I'm
Okay.
familiar with it.
Well, interestingly, probably since then, on the 23rd, the Space Needle opened up this thing called the Skyliner, and it's the first visible result of the $100 million that they dumped into it about 6 years ago,
Mm.
the Sentry
Okay.
project. And I thought that's interesting. So they're opening up this structure, the only kind like it in this hemisphere. And guess what's happening in the movie when the movie opens up? They're opening Skyview. So life imitating art or some kind of alignment, suggesting that the Space Needle is being put in front of us, exploding right now for a specific reason, as in predictive foreshadowing, programming, conditioning us to just like they did on the build up to 9/11. So you kind of see where I'm getting at here, how we're assessing
Mhm.
this.
So you're saying this is still going to be their big event, and even though you guys called for it maybe a couple years ago, do you think they're going to do it under Trump? Because it seems like the psyops under Trump have been reduced, as I said
Right.
in the opening of the show. What's your take? Are we still on the same pace of psyops? So,
Oh yeah, that's what the other point here is, that everything that is foreshadowed in the entertainment world, everything that appears concurrently on Netflix, you
mhm.
can presume it to be fake. So
Yeah.
nothing that is foreshadowed is going to be real. At no point are they going to manifest any of this fake stuff into reality. We have to keep in mind all the white pills. If nukes aren't real, if space war is fake, if space junk is fake,
Mhm.
so it takes a lot of things off the table. So no, I'm looking at this more, as I said earlier, a plot twist. And it seems like we're hitting a very significant plot twist. And the reason why this year in particular is, I think, very compelling here is the Final Destination and this general background. And as we've been watching in the last few days, it's kind of been heating up with these scheduled protests for Trump's birthday.
Mhm.
And so, similar to the buildup to 3/11, it looks like this week um, could be where they bring out this base monster and do this thing Pacific coast there.
Here's
I'm not.
here's the
Go ahead.
iconic photo of the day. I guess this one here. I don't know if this is a real photo or it's Photoshop or it's whatever. I guess we don't even use the word Photoshop anymore. We might say AI shop or just AI reproduction. But this seems to be the
Right.
big.
Well, I was
So
saying
here's
nobody
your
uses Photoshop anymore. Photoshop is like, I
yeah.
haven't used Photoshop since AI, so I'm glad you brought that up.
It's old technology. Yeah. Well, who needs to learn how to use Photoshop anymore? Just you have to be a prompt jockey to get this stuff in. So I guess this is why my dad's all upset because he's watching all this probably unfold in the mainstream media right now. So here you go. This is the iconic photo. This is the new. You always talk about the bifurcation of the people on two sides. This whole Gaza slash Israel um, conflict is worldwide. They've manufactured this worldwide. It seems. I'm assuming this
Yes.
is, or no, this is
Yeah.
the Mexican flag. So I was confusing that with the Palestinian flag because it's similar colors, I think.
Well, I've seen some cartoons showing the rioters switching flags, and
Oh, okay.
it's been seamless, and it's the same crowd. It's the same grievance. In fact,
Okay.
I've heard some activists referring to themselves here as American Palestinians, trying to draw this parallel. But this is good for them as far as the visuals. I mean, you remember the visuals of Derek Chauvin kneeling on George Floyd. Well, now we got the visuals of Trump's soldiers firing
Mhm.
on immigrants in Los Angeles. And then there's a lot of videos I'm seeing of women and children getting maced, baby crisis actors, hopefully. Hopefully they're not really macing babies, but that's powerful stuff. It's incendiary.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it tells you when I don't pay attention to the media, I live quite comfortably, but I can see why some people are getting worked up into a frenzy when they see stuff like this, images like this. But do you tie this into 6/11 at all, or is
Yes.
this part? Oh, you do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, well, because the 6/11 scenario, as I've interpreted it, it connects to Waco, which is where Trump kicked off his campaign the day after
Okay.
Netflix releases Waco: American Apocalypse. Waco's ground zero for this ideology. This is where Alex Jones got his start, rebuilding the Branch Davidian church after 33-year-old Dave Koresh was torched. Timothy McVeigh was radicalized there. He struck back in Oklahoma, and that was the 419 attack. And that was the anniversary of Waco. So, of course, McVeigh then dying at 33 on 6/11/01 is kind of this symbolic martyr of white nationalism. So that's a very interesting date for him to have
Interesting.
been killed. And so there's this deeper story here, but his actions were largely based on the writings of this Andrew MacDonald, who happened to be born on 9/11,
Mhm.
1933, author of the Turner Diaries. So the Turner Diaries is white nationalists getting their hands on nukes and trying to turn America into a white ethno state.
Mhm.
And it happens
His
in the
name wasn't Andrew McDonald, it was something else, wasn't it? No, the Turner
well, is
Diaries.
I think he had the name on the book was a pen name, but I think he had his name was
It
I
was
have my
something else. Sorry, I just don't remember the name Andrew McDonald. It was the name's on my I know what it is too. Let me try and use Grok to look it up here. But
oh
anyway,
I'm on Perplexity. It was William Luther Pierce,
yeah, that
but
sounds
William Luther Pierce, but he published it as Andrew MacDonald. And so
oh, interesting.
the Turner Diaries, and if you remember in 2020, the McCloskeys defending their mansion
Yeah,
against BLM, that image of that couple was
yes.
taken right off the cover of the Turner Diaries. So the Turner
Okay.
Diaries, it takes place in the background of race wars. And so now we're having these ethnic, racial terms being brought out with like Shiloh Hendricks calling that kid a slur. So this stuff's all just being brought out into the open. So it's very, the environment is kind of,
Mm,
I think, intentionally being inflamed. And of course, Trump now is about to celebrate his birthday with a military parade. I mean, it's his birthday and it's the 250th anniversary of the military. But the fact that they're having this big gaudy celebration with tanks and just flexing all this stuff, it's looking like authoritarianism to the left. And then they have this protest called No Kings. So you can
mm.
kind of see that this week's really kind of intensifying here from that
So
perspective.
No Kings, do you think organized by the BLM people? Is this the same operation, do you figure?
Yeah, more it's essentially it's the same infrastructure, same
Yeah.
agenda, and it's very much just bifurcated, and interchangeable.
It's interesting. They've chosen the slogan "No Kings," which is catchy and all, but in Canada, we just had our king open our parliament for the first time since 1977. So we're going talk about bifurcation. We're going the complete opposite way in Canada. So we love the king
Well, this is how
in
he's been
general.
framed. He and Musk have been framed as like essentially techno. I think they call them technocrat oligarchs. And so there's this movie that just came out called Mountainhead, and
Okay.
it is based on Musk, I think Sam Altman, and probably Bezos. But anyway, it's got basically a mix of all of the Zuckerbergs in there, but they're up in this mansion and the world's burning because of AI, because AI simulations are being created by anybody to create the illusion of conflict. So, for example, imagine if the Derek Chauvin killing of Floyd video, imagine if that was AI and nobody knew for 3 months, or nobody knew for long enough for it to do its damage. Like, you could see how that could be weaponized if the public is just totally reactive. And so in the movie, the world's burning and they don't care because, of course, they're so detached from it. But this has been a reoccurring theme that we need to restrain free speech because it's going to kill us all, basically. The mind virus thing has been brought to life with the AI, and this movie is specifically about it.
Should we watch the trailer? This sounds great.
Yes.
Okay.
Unveiled
Let's start here.
I hope you rich folks don't mind slumming it in the humble abode of the poorest billionaire in the gang. But this is exactly why I built Mountainhead.
Look at this place, Soups.
Thank you.
No, I just said look at it. No compliment implied. Simply look at it.
Here we go. All right. 4 presidents of tech. Get yo net worth.
59.
63 bill.
Feels good.
220
Guys, is this on every channel?
There have been a number of occurrences since your launch.
UN officials are now openly attributing the recent uptick in ethnic tension to powerful new generative AI tools unveiled last week on Tram.
I just want to say this is not on you, Venice.
Obviously, it's not on me. Why would you even say that?
Your platform is inflamed, a volatile situation,
Weapon stockpiling, some bank runs.
violence, chaos, and people are dying.
You're not real. Heads don't explode like that.
Heads don't explode like that?
No.
How do heads explode?
We are the smartest men in America. We literally have the resources to take over the world.
This ugly death trap house might have just become humanity's global HQ.
Boom.
The president wants to speak to us. Guys, we could actually do this.
I can handle Argentina and Paraguay.
We could probably buy Haiti or Belgium, those chocolatey assholes.
This does not look like somebody who should have the keys to America.
The world wants your algorithm to stop being racist and shitty. Are you trying to hurt me?
Things can't get any worse.
This is a terrifying experience, and I don't know that I'll ever recover.
Wow. So this is on HBO Max. Interesting. This is good.
Yeah, it's actually rather funny, and the main point of it is that he's ambivalent, or he's detached from reality, this Musk character in the black shirt, as the world's quite literally burning because generative AI has made it impossible for people to tell real from fake. And so the news is cautioning people to not trust anything, basically telling people to auto hoax. And I think, and then of course, they have this character just dismissing the reality of so much. It's just the whole thing to me, it's timely. And you could just say it's just satire. It happens to be timely. But as this comes out, you have the Musk-Trump breakup, which kind of fits into the story in a lot of ways, with the backstabbing and how petty they are.
Their world stage too. I like how they say heads don't explode this way. So there's a tribute to all of us auto hoax investigators. That Fake Nukes Phil, who says bodies don't behave like this. You say that yourself. The dead bodies, the eyes are open and the mouth is open. You have to close it because it's natural reflex for it to open without any kind of without life, basically. So yeah, they're doing some hoax analysis as well. That's great. That's a tribute.
Today I saw this tweet. John LeBon shared some clips from the Joe Rogan show. Joe Rogan is now openly discussing hyper realistic masks, the deep fake
Oh,
masks that we talked about. So anything that was on the table for us 5 years ago that they would never touch is now safe for them. So I'm expecting Joe Rogan to go flat Earth in like 3 years or something. But whatever the case, he's just now talking about this stuff, and it's like I guess it means it's safe. But the one of the things that Trump put out there was he retweeted some Q nonsense about Biden being a bio android, and that's been circulating.
awesome. Why don't we see if there's anything in the comments for us to address? Because there are quite a few big audience tonight. Every time we pair up with IPS.monster, he brings his monster audience over here. So thanks, everybody. I'm on X. I've got quite a few people, well, a few people listening on X. Tim Ozman has Facebook, D Live, YouTube, 2 YouTube channels as well. And I have 2 YouTube channels as well. But pretty good. You used to be on X. Are you off X now?
No, I'm on X. It's IPS Think Tank.
Okay.
And I've been getting a lot of, for some reason, I've been getting a lot of engagement. Not that I'm aiming for clicks or trying to monetize it, but it just seems like my account was shadow bound for a long time, and now I'm getting a lot of engagement. Not sure what it is.
Are you
But
streaming there tonight? Because it's not showing up here at IPS.
it
It's not
oh, you know
there, I
what?
guess.
Okay, I see. I grabbed the wrong one. I'm streaming on 2 YouTube channels. That's what I'm
Right.
doing. But
Okay. Yeah, I get some pretty good traffic from X as well. And so if anyone's there, say hi. We got a big crowd tonight. We got Pete Trippa, Ted Stryker, X322X, Let's Go, Mizell, Dan Zig. He's on my channel. Roxy W, David Hazel. I think he's on your channel. Seth Black, Ears Up, Penguinati, Auto Hoaxer, SAG, R, Mandela Effect. Oh, I wanted to bring that up. I heard that somebody said that Brian Mandela Effect recanted on that now. Have you heard that?
yeah, Tim Osman called, or he told me that Stavely rage quit the Mandela
Oh,
Effect, and I don't know if that's true. I saw him working at a bar in some video, and he seemed very happy.
yeah.
And I think so. I don't know if he really rage quit, but he never called me to thank me for explaining to him how it is actually the misinformation effect and how it's false memories. But yeah, apparently he's moved on, which makes me think maybe the Mandela effect is real and he just transitioned into a different reality, a timeline where he's just a bartender and he's happy.
Well, I think he moved to North Carolina to sell real estate as well. So none of us can make a living from this kind of these kind of broadcasts. So he had to probably make money, understandably. So I think he's doing real estate. And of all the states, I believe North Carolina is a net intake state where a lot of states are draining out, including Florida. I think the Carolinas are doing quite well. I think they call it halfback states, where people that went to Florida are now moving back up the coast, and they're stopping in the Carolinas because it's sort of decent weather, and it's not where they came from. Anyway, those are some real estate channels that I follow as well. So that's, yeah. Stavely was great on 9/11. Let's give him credit. He did really good shows back in 2011, 2012. So I'm still a fan of his. I didn't listen though during the Mandela part of it. I just thought that was a psyop, as I think IPS you think that as well.
Sure. And I don't have an issue with someone's religion or belief systems.
Mhm.
In fact, I liked his 9/11 analysis, and he obviously has a functioning BS detector because he's never been someone to default to trusting even the controlled opposition show. So he's kind of basically a more or less um, on the right side of things. We don't really have any. I don't really have anything else to say other than I was interested in the topic of the Mandela effect because my opinion, I think it's been used deliberately. I think
Mhm.
the Mandela effect was a test, more or less, to see how effective the misinformation effect can be. Can you change people's recollections by getting them to confuse a prompted, uh, I guess, imagined version of something for the real thing? And I think it's a very successful experiment. And just a couple of days ago, there's this article that came out where the Pentagon now admits that they made up all the UFO stuff. Did you see that?
Mm. No, that's great. Do you have that on? Do you have a blog or a Substack? Did you publish that somewhere where I can read it?
Minds. My minds.com/Infinite Plane Society. I put all my receipts there and all the important headlines. And this one's big. I probably also put it on Twitter. But my point is, this is the Pentagon admitting that the Area 51 stuff is all just phony. And the fact that they're coming out and saying that just kind of emphasizes what I'm saying here, that the government is known for spreading hoaxes, myths, that they will basically lie to millions of people for some unknown reasons. And in this case, and I think that might be the article, Pentagon Security, yes, Pentagon secretly planted these conspiracies. So this shows that they do this. They spread conspiracies to the conspiracy theorists.
And you pointed that out in a movie called Mirage Men. Is that correct?
Mirage Men. And this is essentially them admitting that, yes, Mirage Men is true. We made it all up. And I don't know how the UFO community is going to take this, because they've been getting embarrassed lately with all these congressional hearings and hoaxers being exposed.
Another paywall site here. If anyone wants to just remove these ads, you just paste the link in archive.ph and away it goes. I guess nobody saved that one, so you have to wait on that one. Okay, well, that's pretty interesting.
But I actually, if you look on that Minds, I actually screen capped the first few paragraphs so you can get the gist of the story.
Okay.
So just click to the right. And I try to do this with all these articles, is I give you links and I try to give you the headline and any important pull quotes. But
click this side?
Yeah, on the image, click the arrow on the right. I think there's a second image there. And
Oh, I see what you've done. Oh, that's good. Thank you. Okay. Wow, that's good. So you do screen caps. That's good.
See, there you go. Some of the most prevalent conspiracy theories, including aliens being housed in Area 51, were fueled by the Pentagon. That's crazy.
So they were just testing different weapons in the desert of Nevada.
Well, they say that, oh, we lied about aliens to cover up these secret weapons or different types of aircraft. But I'm saying no. I think they faked the UFOs because it's part of their mind wash strategy and influencing our belief systems. But I think but the fact of it is, at least they're admitting that they're promulgating myths, that they are. This is like this would be, to me, this is almost as big as if they were to say, yeah, we made up all the school shooters to influence opinions about guns. Like, it's a big admission.
Pangonati Autohookology says, did fakeologists believe Stavely's radio partner Justin Cook really died? Or was it a very sus fake death for Justin's repurpose? No, I think I have no idea. I don't think that Justin was very healthy from what I remember. I think he was severely overweight and he was a smoker, and I don't think he was very healthy, but I never met the guy, so I don't know. I don't think he was probably repurposed as well. So there are a number of people that disappeared in that era as well. But I really liked his Justin Cook. I thought it was a really good show. And it's too bad. But of course, as fakeologists, we have to be suspicious of everybody that comes and goes through this line of media, I must say. I mean, but I think he probably retired, died, doesn't really matter. He's not around anymore. So that's my answer. No idea, but I enjoyed that guy quite a bit as well. And that goes right back to 2012. Were you around in 2012, Tim? Were you? I just don't know your timeline. I can't remember.
2012, I was in my own universe. I was not even paying attention.
Okay.
It was about, I mean, I was sort of paying attention, but my grasp of it was simply that MSM Plus. I thought, okay, it's probably reptilians. Like, I was fine with that. I just assumed like the worst nightmare version was true, and I adapted to it. And I also believed in climate change and stuff. I had kind of I was certain of it, and I thought it serves us right. Like, I kind of had a very misanthropic view, and I think that changed.
Okay. When did you get hit on the head? What year was that? And what did it for you?
Well, I remember following the Sandy Hook story. And by the way, the verdict against Jones, he doesn't owe any money. They overturned it. The settlement.
No
Yeah,
kidding.
he got away with it.
Good.
Yep.
Boy, I've missed a lot. When was this?
They just announced this like less than a week ago, I think. But yeah, Jones is not going to pay up.
He's free to go.
But it was basically the Charleston shooter, Dylan Storm Roof. When I looked at that critically,
Mhm.
because I happened to be in this strange period of time where I had nothing to do, so I was painting
Mm.
and
Okay.
listening to these podcasts, and I started studying that story, and I thought, wait a minute here, this Dylan Storm Roof seemed like a construct because they talked about the Stormfront webpage, and the more I looked at him, the more I thought he looked like the Sandy Hook guy, and I ended up emailing Jim Fetzer, and we ended up talking
Mm.
on Skype, and I gave him
Oh,
this
wow.
theory that these shooters are constructs, and I said, I think this guy is based on this idea of the manosphere, toxic masculinity. You got the Confederate flag racism, you got the bowl cut, which puts him in the Adam Lanza category of kind of like a socially awkward outsider. And so I was breaking down this individual as a character, and that's really what changed my view. It was Charleston. Dylan Roof woke me up.
Okay. Harks is saying, do you have any thoughts on any fakeology going out in LA? So fake. I haven't personally. I don't know if you're addressing me because my name is Tim as well, but I haven't looked into any of the video or the footage. I've just been too busy enjoying the weather. It's finally summer in Canada, so
Well,
I have no idea. What do you think?
well, when it gets in, okay, the whole situation's contrived. There are
Mhm.
agitators and provocateurs, but what you'll find with leftists is that it does seem that they do, in fact, get involved and get in the streets. That's part of their whole thing, the marches and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's not like protests don't happen. So I'll say it's orchestrated. It's been 33 years since the LA riots,
Oh
and some of the
wow.
same elements are being introduced. So we might be looking at something similar.
Mm.
And
That was the
this,
Rodney King riots, right?
correct. And then
Right.
you have the martyr element. So there's a lot of sympathy now for the immigrants. And now you have Trump as the big bad authoritarian, again, celebrating his birthday with a military parade. He's put these big portraits of himself on the USDA building. He is being looked at from the left as an authoritarian. And Musk and him, of course, no kings. That's coming up. So it just seems like a perfect storm has been built up. So I'm in agreement. It's fake in the sense that it's staged, but there are real people emotionally entangled in this. And so we'll see what kind of stuff happens. But I see people in the streets burning stuff, trash cans. Yeah, a lot of those could be provocateurs, where the cops are like, "Hey, you go out there, you do this." So I'm very skeptical. It could all be actors, I guess I could say.
Hmm. Yeah, I think agitators do bring out real people. I think they do end up tagging along, and they want to join something. So, did you mention Mission Impossible?
I
Did you
did.
say? Okay, I'm just reading here.
Well, the main thing is somebody showed me this. So Tom Cruise is carrying a sign that says 611 on it.
Mhm.
And I was like, that's interesting. And I brought up something else about how in Oblivion, he visits the site of a, a, a stadium after like a post nuke apocalypse world. And anyway, we were just looking at some of the stuff that's being thrown out there because there is a bit of foreshadowing. Like Trump's holding his phone and the picture of it goes viral. And it's his
Mm.
face with 9/11 on it because the timestamp, but the phone's upside down. So we're getting, it seems to me, coded references focusing on 6/11, which, if you didn't know, 6:11 p.m. is the exact minute, 6:11 p.m. and 33 seconds when he was shot.
Right, yeah, I remember hearing that. When he was fake shot. So you have the, Jones story where he was let off? Is that on your minds.com/Infinite Plane Society?
Yeah, if you scroll down enough, you'll find it there.
Oh,
And then
this is an older story. Okay. Oh, okay.
but there's a candidate for, I think, a Colombian presidential candidate who was just shot like live on TV yesterday,
Oh,
and it looked fake. The blood on the car looked fake. And then I saw some video where everyone's clapping when they're told he survived. So I thought that's interesting. Another development.
boy, there's a lot of stuff here. Does anyone know how to get a hold of this show Mountainhead? It sort of looks interesting. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I watched it on Amazon, and I
Oh, it's
watched
on
it because
Amazon Prime? Okay.
yes, yes, and because this is like the second movie in a row that I've seen. Like the other one was this. I started watching Zero Day with Robert De Niro as like former president, basically Biden, and in that one, there's a terror-like attack on New York. Two subway trains crash, and this guy comes out of the crowd and he's like, "It's a hoax. They're all crisis actors," and he starts a riot. And so then in this movie, you have somebody calling stuff fake. So it's kind of interesting. It seems like the people calling stuff fake are being given representation in movies. Likely, of course,
What's the name of it? I got to look that up now.
that one's called 0 Day, and it's like one of the opening scenes.
0 Day.
Yeah.
Okay. That's this year as well?
Just came out probably a few months ago, I think.
Oh, so this is an actual movie. We got to watch the promotion of this. So it's all the apocalypse. The apocalypse is real. Okay.
3,402 people died on 0 Day.
Absolute nationwide terror.
Computer systems completely hijacked.
A significant number of casualties.
Every phone in America displayed the same haunting message. This will happen again.
Talk about merging. These media characters are just representing themselves in the movies now. So talk about a complete blur.
Oh yeah. Well, I only watched the first few scenes, and I saw the crisis actor guy come out. I'm like, okay, that's how they're going to start focusing on those of us who are outside of their political horseshoe, just critically examining their psyops. They have to show us as the bad guys. So the guy comes out and he's like, he died, and it starts a riot.
Yeah, Tomanoid says, "Are you crisis acting at me? Are you crisis acting at me?"
Oh, God. We could AI that. That would be fantastic.
That is great. Yeah, AI that, Tomanoid. You can own that one. Let's finish this.
Thanks for coming.
Madam President, so what's the plan?
Congress is authorizing a special 0 Day commission, hunting down anyone who aided and abetted this horrific attack.
You're just gonna grab people off the streets without warrants.
Actually, you are.
This is the greatest affront to civil liberties ever attempted.
Ex-President
George Mullen is not only
I love how this is Robert De Niro, Mr. Anti-Trump, Mr. Trump is a fascist. How can he's such a hypocrite?
No, this is what he does though.
Yeah.
This is his signature, where he's playing in order to destroy the guy. Like when he does the role of Senator McLaughlin, the racist senator gets shot at, he's creating the bad version of Trump in fiction. And it's mirroring the real Trump. But that part they just talked about, seizing people without warrants. Right now, Trump is initiating these deportations. And they're calling this the greatest affront to human liberties on the show right here. That's what people are saying right now. So this is being framed. So this is, I didn't even catch it because I didn't watch that far, but this is obviously
parallel programming. Is that what you call it? Parallel programming?
Concurrent or parallel? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is really interesting. So this came out February 20th. So this is already 2 months, 3 months ago, 4 months ago. I never heard of it.
Ex-President George Mullen is not only a wannabe tyrant, he's a deeply troubled man.
Wait, I think I've missed the part.
This is the greatest affront to civil liberties ever attempted.
Ex-President George Mullen is not only a wannabe tyrant, he's a deeply troubled man. I'm onto you, Georgie.
Sir, is there something going on here that you're not telling me about?
Prove to me you are of sound mind, or I will tell the country that you are not.
If the mob storms the castle and comes for all of our heads, everyone's gonna be in trouble.
Do you think he's being set up?
Another attack could happen at any moment.
I'm worried that you don't have this under control.
Well, I run this investigation, not the White House, not the CIA.
If the public finds out how deep this really is, I don't think we survive that.
All right, Angela Bassett. Okay. So here's your concurrent programming. Interesting. Another one to watch. You give me a lot of material now. I have to take another week off.
Well, it's almost impossible to take it all in. There's too much. It saturates the environment. And I think that's the whole point. Is they want to create an echo chamber And every day they get the public to focus on one particular scandal, and this is what they're doing is they're focusing our attention, and I think the point of this is it's to bolster the effectiveness of the psyop. So when the psyop happens, people fall in line. This is why when the helicopter and the plane collided, the left wing blamed Musk and Trump, and the right wing blamed female pilots. Like they script the narratives ahead of time so that people process it as real and just go with the program.
Yeah, they're just conditioned because they've seen it before. Although I haven't seen any of this or heard any of this, but I suppose this would really help. This is really fascinating stuff. This is the stuff that IPS talks about on his show all the time. If you don't know IPS, make sure you go to ips.monster. I'm just showing, let me see here. I get your stuff through Odyssey, so you're still up to date with your Odyssey channel, I think.
Yes, in fact, I had a few periods where I was kind of down, but whenever I'm offline, I'm generally working on improving things with AI in particular. So I've been using Notebook LM in order to do, instead of downloading transcripts and uploading stuff, I just go to Notebook LM with the YouTube link, and it gives you, you can get a synopsis.
So you just shove the YouTube link in somewhere on here? This is a Google property, I think, Notebook LM, isn't it?
Yes. So what you do is you give it the URL of the YouTube video, and then you say, give me a synopsis and 5 quotes and any links. Just simple instructions. And in a few seconds, it'll give you something to copy and paste into your blog, where now you've got direct quotes, perfect transcription. And I mean, this is a huge advance. I tried to get a job as a transcriptionist once. I mean, it's not easy back when it was done more manually, but no, this is reliably good. And it will get links. So I'm saying go to mindwar.page or go to ips.monster. It'll be a clickable link if you ask it to give it to you like that.
Wow. This is what all these data centers, this is what NVIDIA and its operating system, CUDA, this is what these guys are doing with all this processing power. They're just grabbing videos, websites, and chewing them up and spitting them out in digestible little pellets so you don't have to. It's amazing.
I'm trying to look at this as essentially this is like a great leveler, because the quality of a summary of a podcast and the appropriate links and the quotes, something like that would require an assistant, someone who could transcribe and someone who's paying attention. The fact that you can now automate it and do it in 5 seconds, or you can use AI to serve as like an editor for books and articles, like to me, this is a leveler, and I think it should make it possible to be more competitive with getting some sort of traction. But I don't know. This whole system's very much rigged anyway. I've noticed that AI is automatically guardrailed to defend the mainstream box. It's like the AI is Truman in the Truman Show, and it automatically treats all of the past news as real unless it's been publicly refuted. And so, in other words, AI is an auto believer, just like the general public, and that's kind of a problem.
Yeah, it's one of the good things about what you do is you are always trying to get new technology or incorporate it into your websites, into your research, and you're always on the cutting edge. I really appreciate that. All these things you discover and try and make sense of and bring to your audience. I think that's a real time saver.
Well, some of it's useful. Like, do you see that? Oh, here's something I recently did. Is I have a Discord server, and there's a bot there, and every 4 hours, the bot will basically scrape all the posts and generate a summary and an infographic and
Oh,
post it in
that's
the
good.
summary. So maybe you don't have time to hang out in Discord all day, but I
No.
have an automated system for creating these summaries, and it gives you the summary as an audio file, a PDF, or a graphic, and it's going to get improved beyond that as time goes on. But I'm employing a lot of these AI agents. And did you catch that study? The University of Zurich unleashed a number of bots onto Reddit, and they were changing people's political opinions.
No, my goodness, this is crazy.
Yeah, University of Zurich, they released some AI agents unbeknownst to users at Reddit, and they were getting people's opinions to flip. BLM people are now anti-BLM, and they said that bots were 6 times more effective than real people.
Wow. Well, we've always suspected that we were talking to bots anyway on a lot of these platforms.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're using bots to build artificial consensus on any issue at all. And so I'm trying to get in the game. Like I have a bot right now on Twitter. The channel's Autohoax. If you go check, it's a bot. And what it does is every 45 minutes, it will go to the latest post about chemtrails and it'll say something to them and advertise a link to my book called The Chemtrail Hoax.
Is it on at Autohoax?
Yep, that's him. That's a bot. I don't follow it very much, but I know he's promoting my book.
Okay, that's funny. You don't even know what's going on here. So this is a bot. How do you make the bot?
So this bot is made with Python, and I haven't had time to really learn how to code myself. So I use a site like Replit or make.com. You can find sites where you can describe what you want the bot to do, and it'll create the code for you. Or I use Grok or ChatGPT to create the code. So I tell ChatGPT, build me a bot for Discord that will scrape the content and summarize it. And then it'll give me the code, and then you just figure out where you want to implement it.
Is this the website, make.com?
Make.com is one place where you can learn how to where you can basically incorporate ChatGPT into a number of bots with automated functions. So anytime I post on my Substack will automatically post to a number of other blogs. I have some bots advertisements for Amazon products and put them on a website. I'm trying affiliate marketing with bots. So I don't have time for it, but I'm trying to see how I can scale this up. And so those are a couple sites, make.com and Replit. But I found ChatGPT will tell you what to do. Just tell it you want it to do, and it'll give you the instructions. And even if you don't know how to code, it'll set you up. So now I have functioning bots on Discord, and I'm setting one up on Gilded right now. And I didn't know how to do that last week. I still don't. I just had ChatGPT walk me through it.
That's amazing. That's I think I gotta ask ChatGPT how to put 50,000 in my bank account. I guess I could just follow the instructions.
It actually, that is one prescription. I've seen people say it. Ask ChatGPT for a business model. It's given me ideas for things. It actually does provide relevant and useful information.
I have to admit, my whole life, I just copy people that are successful. I subscribe to the idea there are no such thing as original thoughts. So for me to come up with a great idea is probably much harder than just finding someone who's doing well and just copying them. And I have to admit, I've been a mimicker my whole life. I don't have a lot of creativity, but I just know enough that I can just try and copy people that are doing things and making some money, and I've survived that way the whole time.
I'm all for outsourcing. Like before I got into this, I was doing murals, for example, and I didn't know how to use the spray or the wand effectively, but I managed to use a radio ad to land a gig repainting a gymnasium. But I didn't say no to the gig. I just hired somebody at Lowe's that knew how to operate it, and I paid them to teach me how to use it. So in other words, I've always been kind of entrepreneurial, but also recognizing my own limits and where I can outsource and create these mutually beneficial business arrangements and get jobs done. And so right now I've been trying to do some side work with junk transportation, but I've been getting more calls for moving furniture and couches, which I don't mind doing. It's easier than, I mean, a lot of jobs, and it's quick. So I've been kind of on the side trying to find ways to finance this because, as you know, we're kind of this is niche at the moment.
Well, yeah, I think you said you have a pickup truck. So is that what you use to move stuff around, or you get another
Yes.
vehicle?
No, it's
Okay.
just use a pickup truck, and sometimes it is dump runs, but yeah, I'm trying. Actually, my junk hauling business is called Haul 9000,
Oh yeah,
and
you
it's
talked about it. That's funny.
the whole space junk angle. That's why I use that to get people to. That's where my payment links are and stuff. But yeah, Haul 9000. The concept is clearing up space from all the junk and space junk angle. But anyway,
So auto hoaxer, how it's going? How does it repost this, for instance? How did it get this?
Oh, now, okay, sometimes what I'll do, because I don't want to get my bots flagged, is
Mhm.
sometimes I'll log in and I'll just
Mhm.
manually respond to things and flag. I'll make it look alive once in a while.
Okay.
If I'll check in once in a while, but for the most
So you
part,
did this. You did this manually.
yeah, some of those are manual posts, but it's augmented by these. I think every 45 minutes it'll go after some chemtrail person, so I don't have to do it myself.
Okay, I gotcha.
So if you start spamming about chemtrails, my bot will probably show up in your channel at some point, and it'll try to get you to read my book.
Okay. I'm just trying to find the date on these reposts. When did this happen? Because it doesn't look like it put today, whatever date it was on here.
Not sure, but so today's the 8th, right? So we got 3 days. Wednesday's the 11th. So
Yeah.
just a heads up, on the 11th, this is kind of an experiment, sort of like we did on 11/3/2019. We're going to see if a culmination of concurrent and predictive programming ends up resulting in this foreshadowed blackout situation centered in the Northwest. So on the 11th, I plan to be live in the morning
Okay.
and then early afternoon, pending seeing what happens at that point, and then in the evening. So I'm looking at 6/11. Not that we're about prophecies and dates, but we're just saying how consistent this thing is, and is it so predictable that we could be on target like this in advance. So anyway, 6/11 Wednesday should be a fun day. Just a heads up.
Okay. I almost forgot about autohoax.com. Is that still working away for you? Is this a manual thing or?
No, it's all dynamic content. So the top link, all these links are updated from. I think I have to update your feed link. I can see it there from
Oh,
your
that's
forum.
my problem. What happened was my forum was being attacked, so I had to put it in attack mode, and it cut off the feed. So sorry about that. I can't figure out how to get the feed to be accessed without going through the attack thing, because I was getting DDoSed by bots on my forums.
Wow. What do you think the source is?
I don't know. I really didn't look into it, but here's the forums here. As you can see now, it says there's only one person online, which is fine. Because normally it says there's 500 people online, because I limited through the forum software to only allow 500 people on, even though they're all bots. So if once I capped out at 500, regular people couldn't get online. So that's what happened. So I had to use the attack mode on Cloudflare, and it's definitely kept all the bots off, but it broke my feed. So you can't get the feed
see.
because you have to prove you're a human to get on. And
Well, this
obviously,
is a great site. I mean, I like it. I have an Autohookology forum. I want to fill it up with. I'm using AI to help with the research, but this needs to be done.
you
And
see
I have
this?
a plan. What is that?
Well,
Oh,
that's it
yes.
verifying you're a human
I see.
using Cloudflare, because Cloudflare is a pretty good way to protect your website, but it blocks the feed. So I apologize. I go to most websites via the feed, but right now I can't figure out how to get the feed to bypass the filter. So if you guys know how to do it, let me know.
Well, all
But
of my, I'll ask Grok. All
yeah,
of my WordPress sites are assailed by bots. I never approve their comments. It's pretty bad, and it really has me thinking. How much of our current thinking is actually influenced by bots? And I think it's probably the case that every consensus that is seemingly there is likely just manufactured, because most people aren't even plugged in. There's no way everybody's on the same sheet with so many people who are in their own little boxes. But there's this illusion of this consensus, and they manufacture it, I think, with automation.
manufacturing consent. That was what's his name? I forget now. My brain doesn't work anymore.
Chomsky.
Yeah. Well, I think that's always been the way. They've always been manufacturing consent. Yeah, Jwin Clues Forum is also under attack all the time now too. Now they don't have any technical guys. I have a little technical knowledge, but I can't help everyone. I'm too busy with my own websites, but I know they've had the same trouble. These bots are everywhere, and I think it really is just like you said, there's so many people that can easily get automated attacks going. So it's a whole new world. It's a whole new problem now. Yeah,
Well,
just
I looked into bots because my Twitter account was being assailed. Every time I would tweet, within a second, I'd get a heart. And I was like, this is great. Somebody likes my comment. But every time it was
Mm.
a bot, like a cam girl bot. And I wondered, why are all of my comments targeted like this? And somebody said, it's likely to get me shadow banned because I have automatic bots on every post that are promoting some model, some OnlyFans model. And I had to continually block these things, but eventually it subsided. But I realized somebody's on the other end of this. There is some
Mm.
targeting involved. And
Of
that's
course.
when I kind of decided I'm going to learn how to use bots. Because if they
Yeah,
can
you
do it
gotta
to
do
promote this trash, I can do it to promote our content.
Yeah, it's never ending. You have to keep up to date. You have to keep learning, and you're pretty good at that. And I'm just trying to keep up myself. But I know what no, they're just making it harder for independents to run their own websites. So you have to go to one of their websites, and you have to pay the price of being on someone else's platform because they make it really easy. They make it free, and they protect you, but that protection has a price. That's what Facebook is. That's what Substack is. That's what all these websites are. But you and I are both trying to forge.
They're cartels. They're cartels. I have a
Yeah.
vision, though. My
Mhm.
vision here is this, and I don't think it's idealistic. It's not utopian. I think this is down to earth. I think
Mm.
that media fakery analysts create a large enough rift where there are enough of us who aren't plugged in so deeply to the matrix. We get enough people to create a visible rift, and this demographic becomes essentially a third branch of media, an offshoot of alternative. But the numbers could inflate to the point where it might be economically viable to do this full time because there wouldn't be any gatekeeping and nobody would be throttling traffic or revenue like all these other controlled platforms do. But we just need the numbers. And I think the numbers are there. I think that the fakeologist, the auto hoaxer is a sleeping giant. It's just a matter of assimilating it. So that's kind of what my vision for the future here is that at some point we create a loud enough signal or the word spreads out to where anybody who's tired of the red pills, the controlled opposition, they start seeing through it. Maybe they will not go back to the mainstream or unplug entirely, but find their way here. And I think there's a lot of people who are pretty close, but they're just a few bad habits keep them locked in.
Awesome. Well, this is tonight's show, FAK1083. You can see as we've been talking, I make notes. So most of the links that Tim has brought up, I've pasted here in today's show notes. So it's very easy to find. And you can go to my blog. That's where I'll post this show in a minute, the audio version. The video version is going to be over here on FakeOtube. I didn't even have a chance to look onto that. FakeOtube is our own video platform. It's been pretty quiet lately. I have to admit I haven't put too much stuff up there because I'm distracted right now. And it's also the summer. But you can go there. We've got at least almost 9,000 videos, as you can see here, including this show, because I'm going to delete this show off YouTube. I hate to do it, but I just don't know if we've said anything controversial, and I like streaming live on YouTube. So this show will be deleted from there, and it will be put on FakeOtube. Tim, do you leave your shows on YouTube?
I'm taking this one off as well, and I'll send everybody to FakeOtube. It's not
Yeah.
that we said anything, but I mean, we played some trailers. They'll probably censor it anyway. So I'm going to send
Oh, right.
everybody to FakeOtube, and I'll be live after this anyway.
Okay, well, your show is one of the very few shows I try and keep up to date with because there's so much material. You've got the up to date stuff. I knew you'd deliver tonight. You've really updated me a lot, and we'll have to bring you back again, especially if I can't keep up with all the content as the summer goes on. So awesome! Thanks for bringing your huge audience. There's 142 people on our Restream platform where we are on X and YouTube. So pretty good crowd tonight. So I really appreciate it, Tim. Thanks a lot and keep going.
Yeah, I agree. Great chat here. Great comments as well. And yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for having me on. And if anything significant pops up in the next few days, we'll certainly touch base. Maybe on Wednesday, I'll be
Yeah.
live. Like I
Well,
said.
maybe I'll tap into your broadcast on Wednesday if something big happens. So that'll be really interesting. I was hoping we could have the summer off of psyops, but I guess they just keep going.
Yeah,
Always
no, I don't think they can't let it go. This is like the attention economy, and I think that they want our attention more than they want our money. It's the real currency, and I
Yeah.
think they're going to be ramping things up. So thanks for having me on, and I will send everybody to your site. So thanks again.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining. This is Autohookology by Symbia, who did some of the best music for IPS. And make sure you go to his site. Make sure you support independent media like IPS and also FAK1083. And we may see it tomorrow night, or for sure we'll see it Tuesday on the Lynn Tell Show on Tuesday. So take care, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Don't believe in chemtrails. I don't live in Truthville. Just because you saw it on the screen doesn't make it real. I don't take the red pill. I don't take the blue pill. I just choose to follow my dreams out of hooks and chill. I've stepped off the world stage and I've moved away from all the fake outrage and the hearsay. And I don't give the time of day to those when they say, cause they got a bad case of the mind age. I've stepped away from their game entirely. I won't be caught up in the lame dichotomy. I've stepped away from the cage entirely. I'm free today. My mind's been saved by reading Autohookology. Out of the control system finally. I know where to go if you follow me. Cause I've been reading Autohookology. Nothing can bother me. Autohookology. Won't put the screen before it's blasphemy. I won't become another mind war casualty. I came up out the realm of possibility to take the helm of this reality. Cause I've been chillin' reading Autohookology, rejecting all the expectations of the auto-believer, to become a new creation on the raft of receiver. Standing on the sword of truth, I stab the facts of deceivers. Submitting burdens of the proof from all the hacks and believers. I've stepped away from their game entirely. I won't be caught up in the lame dichotomy. I've stepped away from the cage entirely. I'm free today and my mind's been saved by reading Autohookology. Out of the control system finally. I know where to go if you follow me. Cause I was reading Autohookology. Nothing can bother me. Autohookology. Won't put the screen before it's blasphemy. I won't become another mind war casualty. I came up out the realm of possibility to take the helm of this reality. I've been chillin' reading Autohookology, suspending all the judgment. You won't get a reaction. Won't defend it. I won't budge until I get all the facts in. I won't argue with the boss about the next current thinker, crying over the fake bodies like a bitter death clinger. Autohookology. I've been reading Autohookology. Nothing can bother me. Autohookology. I've been reading Autohookology. That's my philosophy.